everybody. Welcome back to the basketball edition of the Huddle. I'm Ruth Lang here with sports editor Mike Brown, and we got to catch you up with a couple of weeks of holiday basketball action.
Absolutely, Ruth. The Marlington Dukes. I think we were talking about them. Marlington almost scored 100 points in its big NBC win over West Branch last week, and they probably have been the best immediate area team through the early part of the season. Coach Nick Evanich has been playing like 9 and 10 guys, run them in and out. And, he's got that kind of depth where very few schools have that. So Marlington could just wear you down in a basketball game.
Mm-hmm. And they also had one of their key players was Andrews, scoring a lot. They were really trying to shut him down there, but weren't able to do that.
Chris Andrews is one of the best basketball players in the Review area. In fact, he's just a great athlete. He's a great football player too. But he's one of the best basketball players in our area this winter.
Now you can't discount West Branch did out rebound them. So defensively they stayed with them defensively.
I got a chance to see West Branch against Lisbon. They were down by 18 points, came back and beat the Blue Devils. And West Branch is off to a 5-3 start, one of their better starts in a number of years. And I was impressed how athletic West Branch is this year. They're not very big, but they really like to get out and run. They can shoot the three-pointer, and I look for West Branch to have a very successful season.
Sebring is also on a roll, so to speak. They've just had 2 wins. They beat United at home in their Hall of Fame game, and then also just started out the new year with a win over Heartland Christian.
Right. They swept Heartland Christian this year, beat them for a second time on Saturday night in Columbiana. And, Sebring's off to a 6-3 start. They're having a great year for Coach Josh Scott, and I look for that to continue. They've got some talent on that Sebring team, and I think that's a team that will only get better because, they're young in spots, and to be 6-3 with a young team, things will probably only get better.
And also Alliance big win over Salem at home on December 30th, just after Christmas before New Year's.
That's right. The Aviators got an NBC win, and that's important for Alliance because Alliance is very young, but extremely well coached with Larry Kakura, and they're going to turn it around sooner than later. And I think it's good. The more wins they get early and the more confidence they get, I think that will bode well for the second half of the year for the Aviators.
Now, switching from all those wins, talking about all those wins from boys, unfortunately don't have a lot of wins to talk about with the girls. We saw West Branch girls, which was an undefeated team. They took their first loss to Akron Vincent St. Mary.
Yeah, I got a chance to see that game. That was in the Barberton Mayhem tournament on Saturday night. And Akron St. Vincent St. Mary has 5 new starters in its lineup this year, but an extremely talented point guard who had a great game and really kind of disrupted anything West Branch wanted to do. Melinda Trimmer didn't have, she was in double figures, which for anybody else would be a great game, but by her standards, probably didn't have one of her best games, but you have to credit the point guard for St. V for kind of taking a little bit of that game away. And I think that frustrated West Branch for a long time. And, I wouldn't be at all surprised if those two don't meet again deep in the postseason come March. And I think that will be a different result in a rematch, but you never know. That's why they play these games, as they say.
Marlington had a loss to Salem girls away. That was a close game, though, throughout the whole game.
That was a little bit of a surprise, but I shouldn't be surprised by that because Salem has such good tradition in girls basketball, and the game was at Salem. But in my opinion, I really think Marlington's probably the 3rd best girls basketball team in the NBC this winter. So for Salem to knock Marlington off, that's a really good win for Salem and one that the Quakers can build on.
Alliance also had a loss, 10-point loss, but they saw a lot of scoring, sharing around with the scoring. So again, like you said, we're still seeing positive things.
Oh, absolutely.
From the Alliance girls.
The Aviators have made great progress this year, and that's, like I said a million times, that's a great story that continues to get better. And I think as they get used to playing more games, I think Alliance will be even better than they have, and they've been very good early in the season so far.
And then Sebring girls, also 2 losses. They lost to United at home and then also to McDonald at home.
Yeah.
20-point game versus McDonald. What are we seeing that we need to see them do to turn that around again?
Well, they've got a lot of talent, especially outside talent. They've got a lot of great shooters at Sebring. Sydney Smith and Murphy Flowers, and it goes on and on. What they don't have is that dominant inside presence because they lost Kelsey Settle to graduation from last year's team. And I think that's created a little bit of a problem for them right now. But I think depending on matchups, if Sebring wants to get out and run or shoot the outside shot, they would be a tough matchup for a lot of teams. So I think when it's all said and done, I think they'll be a very quality tournament team coming in the season.
And what's our schedule coming up this week?
Yeah, we've got a full slate as far as the boys basketball. Tuesday night, the big matchup is going to be the Alliance Aviators going to West Branch, and I think that's going to be a great matchup this year because Alliance is young, and West Branch is off to a good start. And the game's at West Branch, and I think that's a game that could go right down to the last basket. That should be a really fun game to watch. For area fans. And also Tuesday night, the Marlington Dukes are going to take a trip out of NBC action. They're going to host the Glen Oak Golden Eagles. Glen Oak's from the Federal League, a much bigger school. And I think that'll be a good test for Marlington because I think Marlington's a dynamite basketball team this winter. And to step up and play a Federal League team, I'll be anxious to see how they do in that. In the games at Marlington, so I think they've got a shot. They've got a good shot in that one. And also Tuesday night, the Sebring Trojans will play the Mineral Ridge Rams at Sebring. Like I said, Sebring's off to a 6-3 start. There's a comfort level there playing at home, and hopefully the Trojans can get their 7th win tonight on Tuesday night. And then on Friday night, Ruth, we've got a full slate of boys basketball action again. Alliance will go to Minerva for an NBC game. Marlington's at Salem. Sebring makes the long trip to Lowville. And also St. Thomas Aquinas, who's probably the best basketball team in the area. They return almost their entire team from last year's team that was a state runner-up. They will go to Cleveland Central Catholic for a North Coast League game. And then, we've got girls basketball action this week, too.
And we'll have all that for you in the paper, online, and we'll see you on the court.